Okay, very funny story here. When I first got to Boston, months and months and months and months ago, I wanted to see Boston University. So this is like one of the main stops for Boston University. It's the Kenmore stop on the Green Line. So I come out of the subway here, and I'm immediately struck by that. Okay? You see that? Let's see this. I'm immediately struck by that. Now, I'm struck by that in two ways. One, it's huge. You can't miss it. You're going to be struck by it when you walk out of the subway. Two, I'm struck by it because I don't know why I'm struck by it, but I'm struck by it. I have seen that sign before. I don't know where, but I swear to God, I've seen that sign before. Okay, so I head over to Boston University. But I'm kind of like dogged, if you will, by this sign over here. Okay? Because I've seen it, I just can't I don't know. I can't place it. I've seen it somewhere, and I just don't know where. And it's starting to bother me. Okay, let's cut to Boston University. Carl Jung, an old psychologist, used to call things like that an archetype. You know. There's images in the collective unconscious that we gather as a people, as a human race. There's certain images. There's certain just symbols and archetypes. Okay, that throughout time we collect as human beings, and it almost goes into our subconscious. All right. A good example of this is Close Encounters of the Third Kind. If you ever saw Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Richard Dreyfuss begins all of a sudden tearing apart his living room and building, like in the middle of his living room, this huge mountain of mud. And his wife, his children have no idea why he's doing it. He's just doing it. He just feels obsessed with building this huge mountain of mud. Over time, he sculpts the mountain of mud into a form, into a very distinct form. He has no idea what it is. He just knows he has to do it. And that it's in his head and in his mind to build this archetype that he sees in his head. And of course, the mountain of mud turns into a mountain in the living room, and it becomes, I believe it's the Devil Tower in North Dakota. And that is where the aliens and the human meet at the end of the movie. Okay, it is the site where everything comes together at the end. Okay, but what's being shown here is like an archetype, if you will, something in the collective mind that he has to express. So anyways, I'm dogged by this when I first get to Boston. Okay, because, what is CITGO? I don't know, but I know that sign from somewhere. So that day, I head on down the street to Boston University. Okay, now here you got a number of roads, actually. You got like a fork here. I mean, quite literally like a fork or a rake. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 ways to go here. I was headed to Boston University. So off I went to Boston University, down that road there. Okay. Later in my stay in Boston, I made a left, okay, to see what is down here. Okay. Now, mind you, it is April. Okay, so, the banners and bunting are out now for the Red Sox game. Okay, and they're playing the Yankees this week too, so it's not your typical week here in Boston. I mean, it's rivalry number one. So I no sooner turned the corner here 4 or 5 months ago, and there she is. It's like, that's how I know the CITGO sign. That is why I know the CITGO sign. Never heard of the gas station or whatever it is, but I know it from years and years and years of watching Saturday afternoon baseball games with Kurt Gowdy and Tony Kubek announcing Saturday afternoon games on NBC. Okay. With Carl Yastrzemski and classics at my age. 55, 58, 60 years old, grew up with. Here, watching the games from Fenway Park. And somehow, I don't think they ever advertised on NBC. But behind the green monster, behind the walls here of Fenway Park, was the CITGO sign. Just sitting there, not bothering anybody, but instilled in the mind of every true baseball fan. It didn't have to do anything. It got into the unconscious. Ah.